Shalom, Apostle Tahar coming back at you with this truth, and that's the wrong intro. That's when I do my little impromptu videos, but I want to say welcome once again to another installment of Apostles GMS, giving all praises to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, of course, and a hearty shalom to all you elders and brothers and teachers out there pushing this word. As we know, 2016 year to push. Today's topic is going to be entitled "The Flat Earth and Science's Falsely So-Called," and get me the scripture on that and other topics. You know, because in the last couple of weeks there've been, this nonsense with this flat Earth thing.
In 1881,
and
the English inventor Samuel Rowbotham,
so-called brothers, or what we thought were brothers, kind of got taken by that thing that's on the internet. And they got it from Esau, because Esau is the one that put that out there and put out them videos. And these young cats that were not grounded, they took to it and they said, "Oh no, the earth is flat. No, what's going wrong with this?" And they put their little scriptures out there. They went out there. They didn't consult us, and so it got to us. So I did a video on it. We spoke about it in other different videos. If you watch the different videos on YouTube, and I'm going to bust that whole thing wide open. I don't give a damn if you're Isaac Asimov, whatever the hell his name is, great scientist that died. I don't care if you goddamn what's his name, Einstein. I don't care if you're Vernon von Braun. I don't care who you are in the science world. All right? Stephen Hawkins. I don't even know this guy. Oh, that dude, what, does he believe in that flat earth thing? Well, if he does, I see why the Most High flattened him. And what's this guy, Tyson, the Jake. He's the head of the Hayden's Planetarium now. He's on TV sometimes. The Grace Tyson or something like that. And I believe he says that there's a flat earth. He's the head of the Hayden's Planetarium, I believe.
Everything is not okay.
He's on TV a lot. He's on Bill Maher's, whatever the name of that show is, Politically Incorrect or whatever, which I don't even watch no more.
Here, you want
Yeah, just see what happens. That's it. There he goes, right there. Yeah. Put his name in, put his full name in, and then put in flat Earth or flat Earth theory and see what he says about it.
At your size. Two,
and I believe he contradicts himself, if I'm not mistaken.
To notice any curvature at all.
Yeah, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Not Mike Tyson, but Neil deGrasse Tyson. Not Tyson Gay, but Neil deGrasse Tyson.
But this whole thing, it's just a symptom of a larger
right.
problem.
This brother's heavy into science. And that was my favorite subject, man, mathematics and science. Which mathematics, by the way, the root word goes back to the Hebrew word amath, which means truth. Math is true. If you go out into space, you use math. Anywhere on the planet Earth, you use math is a universal. I'm sounding like him right now. Math is a universal language. That's a good topic for you, Gabar. Math is a universal language. So what does it say about this cat?
I'm just reading.
Because if he's saying that the Earth is flat, I'm a bust his bubble, and I'm not even a scientist.
This one here, it says watch. It says watch. Neil deGrasse Tyson explain once and for all that the Earth is not flat.
So that's right, B.O.B.
So he's saying the Earth is not flat.
He says the Earth is not flat.
Okay, well, that's my man.
Yeah.
He's cool with me. Anyway, we're not. You know what you can do?
Mm-hmm.
You can have the people watch the video or the pertinent parts of the video. So we don't even know what he's going to say, but based upon the title, he's saying that the Earth is round.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, where's the scripture I say go to? Based upon the title.
1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 20. O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane and vain babblings and oppositions of science falsely so called.
So that's, part of the title was science. I said science is falsely so called. Because that flat earth doctrine, that's exactly what it is. It's a false science.
That the Bible and our
it's something that Esau put together to deceive Jake. And it tells you, it tells you, just turn that off. It tells you in Matthew 24, speaking about the elect, if it was possible, it will deceive the very elect. So these guys that,
which prevents
climbed on that horse,
over the edge.
They're not of the elect.
Day and night cycle is explained by the sun and moon moving in circles above.
This is Matthew chapter 24, verse 24. For there shall arise false messiahs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect.
Yeah, so these guys are being deceived. That was down with GMS. So it's being found out that they're not of the elect.
When actually they are
at least they repent. Okay? Now go to Google. Go ahead. Go to Google and just put in flat earth doctrine. Get some information. Because we're going to build this thing up. Okay?
Yeah, I'm in the book of 1 Timothy 6 and 20. I looked at the word vain babblings. And the word vain babblings comes from the Greek word kenophonia, and kenophonia means empty discussion of vain and useless matters. And that flat earth thing is vain and useless matter, because that really doesn't edify anything. Scriptures say, do all to the edifying of the church. Now the word edify means to build. So if you're going to teach something that's going to build the church up, build up brothers' faith, build up the kingdom of heaven, to rouse up in the pure minds of the elect. Those are things you should be teaching. Like the scriptures say, provoke one another to love.
You said that it was unnecessary matter? That's what you said?
It says empty discussion. Empty discussion, discussion of vain and useless matters.
Vain and useless matter. Well, that lines up with the scripture in the Apocrypha, Ecclesiasticus, the 3rd chapter, the 23rd verse, which says this: be not curious in unnecessary matters. And that's directed to the students that come into this knowledge. It says, be not curious in unnecessary matter. And whether the earth is flat or round, which we know it's round, is an unnecessary matter. It has nothing to do with your salvation. All right? It doesn't enhance your knowledge of salvation. All right? So be not curious in unnecessary matters, for more things are showed unto thee than men understand.
Where you reading that?
And that's in the Apocrypha, the book of Ecclesiasticus, the 3rd chapter, the 23rd verse. It's also known as Sirach in the Apocrypha, the book of Sirach.
Yeah, and you guys, you're getting all caught up into this nonsense. Part of the Project Bluebeam agenda is to come up with new stuff, new discoveries, new archaeological evidence now to offset everything else that's been taught and that's in the scriptures. Now, I look up the word opposition in the book of 1 Timothy, the 6th chapter, and the Greek word there is antithesis or antithesis, right? And it says opposition, that which is opposed. And when you go to the Thayer's Greek lexicon, opposition, that which is opposed, it says the inventions of false knowledge, either mutually oppugnant or opposed to true Christian doctrine. And that's what's happening. Those scientific terms and scientific things, if they're not in line with the scriptures, then they're false. So they're coming up with these new theories, or reviving these new theories that were brought up in the like 1800s, 1700s. That time period, maybe a little before that. These things are new things that are being brought up. because they're trying to discredit the Bible first and foremost, and they're trying to turn you away from the truth. And that's the main thing, and turn you away from the doctrine so that you can corrupt the doctrine. So you guys that's getting caught up into that, as Apostle Tark keeps bringing out, which is in the scriptures, you were never grounded. Your roots were never dug into the ground in that good soil. You might have sprung up, you might have flourished a little bit, but your roots went as far as deep as the concrete, the surface of the concrete.
Yeah, earlier off camera you mentioned about Isaiah 40 and 22, is it? You mentioned about, bring that out, about the circle, then you looked up the word.
Oh, no, that was a different scripture.
Okay, well, yeah.
Okay. This is First Ezra. Oh no, you're right. But it was in the. You're right. Yeah.
The word circle.
Yeah, I got a couple of them, but I got one here. The one that you want is this is Isaiah chapter 40, verse 22. Isaiah 40 and 22. It says, "It is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof are as grasshoppers, that stretcheth out the heavens as a curtain, and spreadeth them out as a tent to dwell in." Now, Spirit tapped me to go to the Latin Vulgate just to see what it says in the Latin. And when you go to the Latin Vulgate, when you read the English translation of the Latin, it says, this is Isaiah 40 and 22, "It is he that sitteth upon the globe of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof are as locusts, he that stretcheth out the heavens as nothing, and spreadeth them out as a tent to dwell in." So the word there is globe, in the Greek is gyrum. And the word gyrum comes from the word gyro, which is a circle. You get a gyro, what is it? It's in the form of a circle. And you eat them gyros or gyros, whatever you want to call them. And there's other scriptures that back that up. Matter of fact, I go to the book of in the Apocrypha, the book of First Ezra, chapter 4, and verse 34. It says, "O ye men, are not women strong? Great is the earth, high is the heaven. Swift is the sun in his course, for he compasseth the heavens round about, and fetcheth the course again to his own place in one day." Because the sun has a course that it goes around, and it goes around the earth. That's why at one part of the earth is lit and the other part of the earth is dark. You got day and you got night. Now I looked up that word also in the Latin, and when you go to the Latin, the word there in the Latin for round is the word gyro. And when you look up the definition of the word gyro, it says to turn around in a circle. So the sun and the moon and all that, they compass the earth. They go around in circles around the earth, because that was a course that the Lord gave them, such as the other planets also. Everything revolves around the earth because the earth is the center of the universe. Now the earth itself is stationary in the sense that it doesn't move around other objects as far as the moon, the sun, or other planets, but it does rotate on its axis. It does move, and if you know anything about building, when you build a building, you can't build a building stiff, because if you build a building stiff, the winds and different earth movements are going to cause that building to break apart. So what they do is when they build those buildings, the buildings sway a little bit. They have leeway. They give a little bit.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they'll break. So that's how the earth is somewhat moving in that same motion, on its own axis. So it doesn't revolve around other planets or sun or nothing, but it just moves in its own little area.
Yeah, this is 2 Timothy 2 and 14. I'm going to read down. It said, "Of these things put them in remembrance, charging them before Yahweh, that they strive not about words to no profit." Read that again. "Of these things put them in remembrance, charging them before Yahweh, that they strive not about words to no profit." Because that flat earth thing is to no profit. Doesn't help nobody, man. You guys just wanted to come off like you're deep. All right? And I got news for you. You ain't deep. And that's why you're out of there. You're going to be out there for a couple more months, and then you're going to go about doing what you did before you came into truth, man. All right? Give me that a dog walloweth in the eateth the vomit. Yep. It says, but to the subverting of the hearers, but to the subverting of the hearers. So you give no profit, but what you do is, like the scripture said, but to the subverting of the hearers. Now I'm going to look up, Gabar, if you want to say something, or Apostle Gabar, you can say something. I'm just going to look it up in the...
Okay, yeah, I was going to read the book of Amos, I believe it's 9:9, where the Lord speaks about sifting the house of Israel. Now, in particular, there's a word in that verse. Let me read it. Amos 9:9. It says, "For lo, I will command and I will sift the house of Israel." Because we know that the Lord Yahweh, through his son Yahushai, is looking for the elect. Thus, the house of Israel is going to be sifted. For lo, I will command and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like as corn is sifted in the sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. Now, the word there for sift, when you look it up, the Hebrew word there is nawai. And one of the definitions says to wander, to move, to shake, to stagger. So the Lord can use a false philosophy to shake the faith of an individual that he in reality doesn't want. And we saw that with that flat earth BS. That was the Lord allowed that to come into the ministry to shake the faith that was already shaky of these other individuals. Their faith was already shaky to begin with, and that was like the thing that finished them off. Yep. You know.
Gone. This is an example to back up Apostle Gabar. This is our 1 Timothy chapter 1, start at 17. Now unto the King eternal, immortal, invisible, the only wise power, be honor and glory forever and ever. Amen. This charge, I commit unto thee, son Salakia. Getting a little excited. It says, "This charge I commit unto thee, son Timothy, according to the prophecies which went before on thee, that thou by them mightest war a good warfare." Why? Because I'm sorry.
Well, I'm sorry. Because this is a warfare. You know, the main war, a spiritual warfare. The main war we're fighting is the war against ignorance. You know, by defeating it with truth.
That's why the Apostle Paul said, "Fight the good fight of faith."
Fight the good fight of faith.
You know, and then he also said that for all men have not faith.
Yeah.
You know, it says holding.
Oh, also to add to what you just said, the scripture said, "Continuing the things which thou hast learned." Then also it is written, "Hold fast to that which is good." So those guys that are getting shaken, they're getting shaken by like a flat earth philosophy, which is total lies. They're not holding fast to what is good. They're not holding on. They're not fighting the good fight of faith.
And it's going to go on to say that. It says holding faith and a good conscience, because it's a war on the mind.